Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fluento, Everyday English for Real Life, the podcast where learning English feels warm, natural, and human. I'm Anna, and I'm sitting here with David, who looks like he's had 3 cups of coffee and a very philosophical morning.
I probably have, yes. Hi, everyone. It's good to be here again. And Anna, I did have one of those mornings. You know, when you wake up thinking about life and somehow you end up thinking about English learning?
That sounds like you. I've said this before. If anyone on this team is capable of having a deep emotional moment with the English language at 7 a.m., it's you.
Guilty. But honestly, it happened because I was reading a message from one of our listeners. She said, I understand almost everything in English, movies, podcasts, even fast conversations. But when I try to speak, I freeze. And I thought, wow, that's so common. I think almost every learner has felt this.
I hear that all the time, and it's such an honest, vulnerable sentence. I can understand English, but I can't speak. It's almost like they're saying, the English is inside me, but the door is locked.
Exactly. And today, that's what we're talking about, that locked door feeling, why it happens, and how we can open it. Without stress, without pressure, and definitely without perfection.
I love this topic because it's not just about English, it's about confidence, it's about fear, it's about the stories we tell ourselves. And we're going to explore all of that through real conversation, real examples, and even some cultural reflections.
And some embarrassing stories about my early attempts at speaking Spanish.
Oh, are you going to tell that story? The one with the bakery?
If we must, anything for education.
So let's start with the feeling. That moment when you understand everything, but your mouth becomes silent, frozen, like your English goes offline.
Offline, that is exactly the feeling. And you know what's interesting? Every time a learner says this, I can see the frustration behind it because they think something is wrong with them. They think if I understand, why can't I speak? Am I failing?
I want to tell everyone listening, there is nothing wrong with you. This is normal, and it happens for a very, very simple reason. Your brain learned English passively first, not actively.
Which is the natural order, right? Babies do it too. They listen for a long time before they talk.
Exactly. There's no shame in it. But at some point, we have to move from listening to creating, from input to output, from English goes in to English comes out. And that transition is where everything gets emotional.
And scary because speaking is like standing on a stage. Even if you're alone, you feel watched somehow.
I always tell students this. Speaking is performance. Listening is not.
Oh, wow. I love that. Yes. Listening is private. Speaking feels public.
And public things activate fear. Even if you're speaking to your phone or to yourself or to your cat sitting on the sofa judging you.
Cats definitely judge. That's not in your imagination.
You know what's fascinating, David? The freezing doesn't happen because you don't know the words. It happens because your brain is switching between languages. It's like a computer switching between 2 big apps. It needs time.
Exactly. And during that time, the brain goes, hold on, loading.
And because learners panic during that loading time, the brain freezes even more.
I had this moment so many times when I lived in Spain. I understood everything around me, but the moment I tried to speak, I felt like I suddenly had 10 marbles in my mouth. My tongue didn't know where to go.
Do you remember a specific moment?
Oh yes, the bakery story. You wanted it, you get it. So I walked into this small Spanish bakery, very cute, smelled like heaven, and the lady behind the counter said something like, "What would you like?" Very simple. I knew exactly what I wanted. A croissant. Easy word. But instead of saying croissant, my brain panicked and I said, bread, But sexy?
No!
Yes, because I confused crujiente, which is crispy, with caliente, which is hot, and then panicked even more, and everything went wrong. The woman just stared at me like, "What is this man ordering?"
I'm crying.
I wanted to disappear. But here's the important part. That moment, that embarrassing moment, helped me more than any textbook. Because after that, my brain understood that speaking is messy, and that's okay.
Messy is human. Messy is learning. Messy is how we grow new skills. Let's talk about why this happens from a learning perspective. Again, no lists, just the flow. One big reason is that people think understanding is enough. They consume English like entertainment, movies, YouTube, songs, but they don't produce English.
It's like watching someone play guitar for 2 years and then being surprised that you can't play a song.
Exactly. Input is not output. Even if you understand 95% of a movie, you still aren't practicing forming sentences in real time.
And that's the key phrase, real time. Speaking is basically improvisation. You can't plan every sentence. You just go. And the brain needs practice to do that smoothly.
Most learners have years of input, but only minutes of output. The balance is upside down. No wonder the door feels locked.
You know, I once asked a student, "When did you finally start speaking comfortably?" And she said, "The day I stopped caring what I sounded like."
That's powerful because the real barrier is not grammar. It's not vocabulary. It's embarrassment. It's fear of mistakes. It's fear of sounding stupid.
And that fear is universal. People in English-speaking countries don't think learners sound stupid. They think learners sound brave.
Yes. You know what I love about English-speaking cultures? If you try to speak English, people usually respond with, "Hey, your English is great," even if your sentence was a complete disaster.
We appreciate the effort. And honestly, we're used to accents. English is global. It belongs to the world. Nobody has the perfect accent. Not even native speakers. We all sound different.
I want to say something directly to our listeners. Your accent is not a problem. Your mistakes are not a problem. Your silence is the only problem.
So, how do we cross that bridge? The one between "I get it" and "I can say it"? Well, that's what today's conversation explores through examples and stories. Here's one of my favorite concepts. Speaking begins with repetition, not creativity.
Yes, learners think they must create original sentences every time, but native speakers repeat patterns all the time. Phrases like, "That's interesting." "Oh, really?" You know what I mean? These are ready-made, instant.
We call them chunks, right? Little pieces of language you can memorize and use as is, like Lego blocks.
Exactly. When you learn chunks instead of individual words, you give your brain shortcuts, and shortcuts reduce freezing.
You know what's funny? When I learned French, I didn't memorize verbs. I memorized phrases like "c'est pas mal," meaning not bad. "Ça marche," that works. And suddenly I sounded more natural.
Chunks are magical. They carry culture, tone, rhythm, emotion.
Here's something that completely changed my Spanish. Shadowing.
Listeners, if this is your first time hearing that word, shadowing means repeating what you hear at the same time, becoming the shadow of the speaker.
It felt weird at first, but it trained my mouth and my brain together. It made Spanish feel physical, not just mental.
That's a beautiful way to say it, physical, because speaking is not just thinking. It's movement, the tongue, the lips, the rhythm, the breath. Shadowing wakes all of that up.
You know what's funny? I talk to myself in Spanish a lot. People think I'm crazy, but I love it.
Talking to yourself is one of the most powerful learning techniques on earth because no one judges you. You can try new phrases, you can narrate your day, you can practice thinking in English.
Sometimes I walk around the house having full conversations with imaginary people, asking myself questions, answering them, practicing small talk.
It's not silly. It's training internal fluency. And internal fluency leads to external fluency.
Let's talk about the monster. Mistakes. Why do adults fear them so much?
Because adults think mistakes mean failure. Children don't. Children fall, stand up, try again. Adults fall and say, I am not good at this. I quit.
But in language learning, mistakes are the path. There is no other way. No one has ever reached fluency without thousands of mistakes.
Mistakes are data. They show you what to practice next. They show progress. They create real growth.
Fluency comes after the mistakes, not before. I love that.
Another thing that changes everything is recording your voice. I know this is scary. I know people hate hearing their voice.
But it's like watching game footage for an athlete. You see your strengths, your weak points, your real patterns, and you improve twice as fast.
Speaking every day, even 5 minutes, builds continuity. Your brain likes routine. It learns through frequency, not intensity.
5 minutes every day is better than 2 hours once a week. The English muscle needs short, consistent exercise.
I love role-playing because it prepares you for real situations. Ordering food, asking for help, booking a hotel, talking about your day. When the real moment comes, your brain doesn't panic. It recognizes the script.
Meanwhile, role-playing with your pet is completely valid. My dog has heard more Spanish from me than most humans.
Does he judge your accent?
Absolutely. He has very high standards.
This part is so important. A conversation is not just listening, it's listening and replying.
And replying is the fast part, the scary part, the improvisation part. That's why practicing with a friend, a teacher, or even an AI helps so much. It forces your brain to answer, not just receive information.
You know what's interesting about English-speaking culture? People care more about kindness than grammar.
Yes, if you speak politely, people love you. If you make mistakes, they barely notice. If your accent is strong, they think it's charming.
We grew up hearing so many accents. English is a global language shaped by millions of voices. There is no correct way to sound.
So to everyone listening, you understand English. You're already halfway across the bridge. Now, it's time to use your voice.
Speak a little every day. Talk to yourself. Repeat what you hear. Learn chunks. Be brave with mistakes. Be kind to yourself. And remember, fluency is not perfection. Fluency is connection.
And your English voice is already inside you. We're just helping you unlock the door.
Thank you for spending this time with us. Truly, it means so much.
And if you want, share your story with us. When did you feel stuck? And what helped you speak more? We love reading your stories. They inspire us and other learners.
Until next time, keep going, keep practicing, and keep believing in your voice.
Bye, everyone. See you in the next episode.